Hey, so today we're going to talk about how to jam on California Stars by Wilco. This is a really awesome Americana tune. It's in the key of A major, and so we're going to work out some kind of A major pentatonic stuff, the A major scale, and even a little bit of A minor pentatonic that we can throw in. So let's go ahead and we'll jump in. All right, so this song is in the key of A major, and we're going to have a 1-5-4 back to 1 progression. So in the key of A, that means we've got A, the 5 is going to be E, D is going to be the 4, and then we come back to that 1 chord A. Now, each of these chords are going to last 2 bars apiece. That's 2 bars of A, 2 bars of E, 1, 2, 3. Here goes D, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, back to the A, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, 4. That means we got about 8 measures each, and we're going to kind of try and address each of the chords together and separately. Now, the first thing that you can do on a song like this in the style, and you know there are like tons of them, is you could totally just apply kind of like the A major pentatonic scale. That would be my recommendation and my starting point. Now, if you're familiar, most of you are familiar with a classic box, right? So we would normally put that at the 5th fret if we want the A minor pentatonic. That's that 5-8, 5-7, 5-7, 5-8, and 5-8. Now, to get the major pentatonic, all we got to do is slide down 3 frets towards the headstock, and we get the major pentatonic notes. And, you know, a good reference point is putting that pinky finger there at the 5th fret, that A note there. That gives us A major pentatonic. Now, that sounds pretty great. Let's check it out on the track. Put that little blue note in there, the 5th fret of the G. So one of the best things you can do right away is just get away from playing the scale up and down. Instead, you pick just a couple notes and try to make some phrases out of it. Like I'll go to the D and G strings. Hammer-ons. Slides into the notes from a half step below. And I like to start with a small amount of stuff and then start adding to it, adding notes to it. Now, I love the boxes and they're great, but one thing, if you know my teaching, I really enjoy the diagonal approach. So if I were playing kind of like the A major pentatonic on this, I might use the 5th fret of the E string as my home, and I would play what I call a 3-2 pattern for the major pentatonic. So that goes 3, then 2 on the next string, 3, then 2 on the next string, 3, and then 2. And the only thing you really have to look out for, that note that is on the B string, you have to shift up 1 fret to get there. And that's because of the tuning of the guitar. So check out this scale and how musical it can be kind of right away. Little double stops, 2 notes at a time. Now, in the major pentatonic, there's this really awesome blue note. And the blue note for the major pentatonic is the flatted 3rd. So if you don't know, the major pentatonic contains 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. And the neat thing about the diagonal is between the higher 2 notes of this little 3-note set, that's going to be your blue note. Now, you hear when you hit it like that, it's not necessarily the best decision. You want to pass through the blue note a lot of times. So it'll kind of look like this. It's it's just a great sound that really adds a lot of flavor. It's almost like it's adding in a little bit of the minor pentatonic, and the reason is because the flatted third comes kind of from that minor territory. Let's see how that sounds, and I'll show you a little bit of how I might use it. Descending slides from C to B, up to C sharp. When you play something you like, repeat it. That makes the audience really kind of understand where you're going and say, ooh, what's going to happen next? Now, you can get as fancy with a song like this as you want. I'm not even necessarily really deeply paying attention to the chord changes, the A to the E to the D to back to the A. Instead, I'm just kind of trying to play melody, and I'm always trying to pay attention to the rhythm. There is just something so important about kind of being in the rhythm. And I'm hearing the drums, and they're kind of playing with that grooving kind of eighth note, and it's really interesting. If you really dig into the rhythm and you kind of pay attention to the phrase and the tension and release, all of a sudden, like, you're a little bit deeper into the music, and you can kind of play based off the music rather than kind of like what I hear a lot of times, people noodling over top. You don't want to noodle over top. You want to kind of be down in the music and grooving with the drums and the bass and the rhythm guitar. All right, so I want to mention the little idea that I just did. So on the D chord, which is the third chord, it is really cool to play a little bit of minor pentatonic. Now, I specifically mean the A minor pentatonic. You could do this on any of the chords, really, just a little kind of touch on the A minor pentatonic and come back to the A major. The song is in A major, so it does sound a little bit more at home when you're playing that A major pentatonic scale. But, because so much of the music that we listen to nowadays is so inspired by the blues, that's like the sound of the blues, when you kind of have this major-y chord and you play the minor pentatonic over it. Now, if you play minor pentatonic over it the whole time, you're going to probably sound a little bit out of place. It'll just sound like you're kind of in the wrong key. But if you throw just tastes of it in, it's going to sound awesome. Now check out this little 2-3 pattern. I talk about the diagonal pentatonic method a lot because it kind of changed the game for me. We talked about that 3-2 pattern earlier of the major pentatonic. Well, the cool thing is there's also a 2-3 pentatonic for the minor pentatonic. Hey, if you're digging this diagonal pentatonic approach, make sure to check out my website for the diagonal pentatonic method. It's amazingly helpful about getting you out of the box and just playing these simple patterns across the guitar neck that sound musical right away. All right, so if we're playing in the minor pentatonic, even if it's just briefly on this D chord, what you're going to do is you're going to put your ring finger on A here, and you're going to play a 2-note set, I call it, and then a 3-note set, and then followed by 2, 3, and you got to shift up for the B string, 2, and then followed by 3. And I just love the way that lays on the guitar because I can slide between the notes a lot easier and get a lot of tasty things going on. So let me demonstrate how you might be playing in a major pentatonic and jump into that A minor pentatonic for that D chord. Here's the E. Here's the D. And I came back to the major. Again. Minor. Back to major. Now that you've learned some fun ideas on California Stars, make sure to check out this video next to learn 3 things that will instantly improve your guitar solos.